guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We are here in Carlsbad, California for the media drive of this event right here. This is it. This is a 2023 all-new, totally redesigned Toyota Prius. This particular one is the Prius Prime. But before we get into this OG of a hypermiler, let's talk about what's going on here. Toyota, they're really going through their lineup and bringing some new, fresh design and also, dare I say, that F word, the fun factor, back to driving their vehicles. Now with the Prius, it's all been that eco-friendly, maximum mileage of a small sedan. Over time, it really changed shape. And for most of that time, it was all about the oddity of that shape to create a low drag coefficient. Now with this new vehicle, as you can see, they took the rule book and they threw it right out the window with a fresh, dare I say, sporty design. Now in this smaller size sedan, you may not think that in that segment there's not a lot of competition. There is, and not only from other brands, but even within Toyota, because Toyota has a Corolla Hybrid and a Camry Hybrid. So what I want to find out is, if you're looking for the best new sedan style that brings sportiness and maximum MPGs, is this Prius Prime the way to go? Let's go ahead, let's dive in and find out. Right off the bat, the color. You might call it just silver. They actually call this color cutting edge. And that's really what the style of this Prius is all about. Now, when we're talking about what's the best sedan for your money, one of the things you want to look for are LED lighting. So we have LED headlights, daytime running lamps, and also all the other exterior lighting, even on the lower portion on the corners, which is really nice. That's going to be something to add that value. Now, as we come across the front, you're going to be able to choose from 3 different trims. This is the top trim, XSE Premium. One of the things I like is you have a forward-facing camera. Another important thing when you're parking, of course, full functionality. And I think the other part that a lot of people forget when it comes to parking is not only a forward-facing camera for those tighter spots, but also we have 6 inches of ground clearance with this Prius Prime. So you're not gonna have to worry too much about scuffing this lower portion on a parking block. Now, as we rise up, one of the things that you will notice about the Prius Prime, it's a little bit lower, a little bit wider, and a little bit longer than the outgoing version. And all those changes gives it a nice, sleek style. Now, when we come around the bend, what are we working wheel and tire? It's interesting because if you look at a lot of other sedans, especially hybrids, they go with smaller wheel size. That actually helps MPGs. Now, what's great about the Prius Prime, you could go SE, which is your entry level. That comes with a 17-inch wheel. When you step it up to XSE or XSE Premium like ours, you're gonna get this nice styled 19-inch wheel. So machined aluminum, gloss black. We got regen braking, and it's great because it's regen braking that just happens automatically. You don't have to set any functions, pull any paddles, blow a whistle, honk a horn, nothing like that. It automatically happens. Of course, all Prius Primes are front-wheel drive, which a lot of hybrids tend to be front-wheel drive, especially when it comes to sedans. Love the cutting-edge color, really shows that nice, sleek shape. But let me know what you think about the wheel and tire setup. 195 on the width. Now, that may not sound like a bad thing. It isn't, because this is going to help cut down on rolling resistance. I know a lot of people like to have wider tires, but guess what? That causes more drag. That means less mileage. With these skinnier tires, the 195 and the 50 series sidewall, you'll actually be able to get greater range out of it. Now, as we come down the side, you'll notice that we have some painted color areas, not only on the front of the vehicle, but also on the mirror caps. That's gonna allow you to have a little bit extra style. And I like the way it blends in with that fender flare treatment, instead of just being flat black. But it would be interesting to have this beautiful cutting edge color all over the vehicle. Up top, we have a nice panoramic sunroof. And if you notice, the glass is so slanted that it comes right into the panoramic sunroof. And then they even painted the back portion black. That makes it all look like one seamless transition from front to back. Working towards the rear, you see all that great aero. I'm gonna open up this door and have Steven kind of swing around and show you this is where our plug-in capability is gonna be. And that's one of the nice things about this vehicle. It's not just a hybrid. You could use it like any other hybrid, but the great news is you could plug in and drive on pure electrification. Now, when we get to the rear, just like we started with the front, it's crazy to say that a Prius actually looks stylish, but they really did it well with the rear glass. No longer needed a wiper. Because the aero is so good, there's no use or no need for a rear wiper. The water will just coast right off. You can see the little creative ways that they put the Prius name in the actual defroster for this rear hatch area. We got our XSE trim, and I love the way everything is a nice dark gray finish. No chrome, no weird window in the back. Remember on the original Prius, you had that weird window so that you could see back? You don't need any of that. And then as we come down, of course, we got our Prime badge. This little thing right here, this is not a button. It's actually the Beyond Zero. That's Toyota's pledge by 2030 to reduce emissions as much as they possibly can. Nice to see they're not like a lot of other brands where they're just going straight electrification and nothing else. And then on the bottom portion, just like we started, nice wide rear look, lower than the previous gens. And then I like the way they just kept it super clean with that metallic black. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering our Prius Prime. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. Obviously, if we're talking about, is this the best way to get your new sedan today, we got to talk about the power plant. Here's the crazy news. Compared to the previous gen Prius, this has 100 more horsepower than the previous gen Prime. Now, how did they do it? You have a updated 5th gen hybrid system that consists of 2 electric motors. It runs on 87 octane with this type of power. 220 horsepower, 139 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to an eCVT, and it does have a lithium-ion battery pack, liquid-cooled, of course, 13.6 kilowatt battery pack. 0 to 60 in this new Prius Prime, 6.6 seconds. If you're wondering about weight, you're looking at 3,571 pounds. And here's the big news, MPGs. This is where it's going to destroy all the competitors. 50 miles per gallon in the city, 47 on the highway. That gives this vehicle a range on a full tank of gas of 550 miles, and you could do pure EV. That means you could use this as a battery electric vehicle 44 miles. If it's an SE trim, which is your base, this one you could do almost 40 miles, pure EV. Charging time on a 240 is 4 hours worth of charging, and you can get an optional solar panel to help with that battery capacity as well. If you're wondering, what does that look like? I'll leave the link to that review where we had a Prius Prime with all the extra goodies, including that solar panel, at the end of this one. But you know what? We have this cutting edge Prius Prime. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's fire it up and see it move. All right, guys, we're inside this cutting edge. Cut it like a Ginsu knife edge of a Prius Prime. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I'm really liking the color. I'm definitely digging the shape. I never thought I would like the shape of a Prius Prime, or any Prius for that matter. But how much is it? Very good question. This being the top trim, it's got some unique options that I'm going to point out to you, actually different than the other one that we drove. So make sure you watch both, because the other review has the solar panel roof. This one has a sunroof and some other goodies. So if you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, there's a lot of competition out there in sedans. I've done the pricing. How much is this? MSRP, $41,390. Let's see what you get for the money to the new door panels. So right away, you'll see the simplicity, and I'm okay with that. What I would like is if they would have taken some of the red accents that you're going to see in a few minutes and put them on the door panel just to give it a little bit of color. But I'm very glad that there's no gloss black, and I think most of you would agree with me. Armrest is on the soft side, which is nice. Door pocket is on the tighter side. So maybe just 2 empanadas and a bottle of cherry cola to wash it down. Now going from the door panel to the dash, that same great material. I like the way they brought some ambient lighting. And you see this red trim? Why didn't they bring some of that onto the door panel? So I'm going to zonk that. I'm not zonking this part, but I'm definitely zonking that there's none on the door panel. I like the way the edge kind of curls up like a wing on the side there. Very nicely done. And then as we come inside, you're getting that multimedia system that's really outstanding. 12.3 inch, easy to use. We've shown it to you on so many new Toyota products. Let me show you some of the specifics to the Prius Prime. So obviously we have all of our information we could pull up very quickly. Your energy flow, love the way it showcases everything. We go back and then we could go into your charging schedule. Remember, this is a plug-in electric hybrid. Think about it. If you work 10 miles away from your house, you could literally drive to and from work and use no gasoline and have it charge at night when the charging rates are cheaper for electricity. That's the way you do it. But I like the way they have that, very easy to figure out. We got with the tech package, that 360 cam view. That's when you could notice if you're gonna charge at a charging station that there's no creepy Tesla drivers staring at you while you're charging. Do that nice 360 scan, and there's our cutting edge setup that we have. And then of course the backup camera, real nice. You got your 360, look how clear that is. Clear as day, with trajectory. They did a great job on the cameras, as they should in the 21st century. One thing I want to point out, let me put it back in reverse, you actually have a washer. Look at that, squirt, 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 squirt. You got a nice rear camera washer, which is great, especially driving in those snowy climates, those muddy climates. Now, as we work our way down, you're gonna get the full suite of toggle switches. 3 stages of ventilated seats, 3 stages of heated seats. The only thing with the AC that I don't like is that it's not dual climate, and I just shut it off. So fan off, now we're gonna turn it back on, but it's not dual climate. That is a zonk at this price point. Down below, you are getting 2 USB-Cs. You are getting a 12 volt. The one thing I can't find is a wireless charger that's located up here, but guess what? There will be one. This is actually a removable compartment. So if you're being told that you gotta stay away from sweets, put the sweets underneath here. I know secrets don't make friends, but guess what? You deserve to have a sweet every now and then. 2 cup holders. You got your Prius Prime key fob. Spin it around, there's your buttons. You can get, obviously, the ability to unlock your door, your driver door, with your phone, the smart key. Here's where your wireless charging is. And it's really cool, because watch, I'll demonstrate with my phone. Real simple to do. You take your phone, that's it. You drop it in, and now it's charging. You take it out, hey, what's up? You put it back in, and you charge. This is gonna control that eCVT. Of course, you have your auto EV HV. You could go into pure EV. And then you also have an EV brake, an electric brake for the emergency brake. Your drive modes, super soft. Open it up, you got some felt lining, 2 USB-Cs, and that's where you could keep the pictures that you took, your high school sweetheart. You could keep those photos in there. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but I guess you could keep them in there, and the felt lining will make sure that the pictures do not disintegrate into dust. That's what you want to do. Just make sure you're not married if you're doing that. It's kind of weird. Seats, the material, it's not called leather, it's called Softex. Here's the red stitching I was telling you about. That needs to be on the door panels. I like the way they got the 2-tone, nice bolstering. The problem is no electric seat. WTF, and we all know what that stands for. What the fuss? Where are the electric seats for the passenger? I have electric seat over here, so I'm good to go. No electric seat. This one does have that panoramic sunroof action, but it is a manual sliding shade. Let me know how you feel about that. I'm gonna zonk that. I think at 41 Gs, I should be able to push a button and it just go just like that. And then the cherry on top of this Prius Sunday is your digital rearview mirror. That's a nice quality piece, allows you to see very clear what the heck is going on behind you. But why don't you come over to the business end? I want to show you behind this very unique wheel and dash setup in the Prius Prime. All right, guys, it's the business side of things in this Prius Prime. Now, what's great is for the driver, 2 memory seat settings for the driver's seat. There's the power seat controls. The bummer is that the passenger does not get to enjoy the same benefits. And to me, that is a zonk. Seats are very comfortable though. And even with that low roof line, it feels pretty spacious in here. Steering wheel though, plucked right out of the BZ4X. I wish they would have created a unique steering wheel specific to the Prius Prime, but you do get the red stitching, which reminds me of a baseball that I had signed by Ken Griffey Jr. that my brother Michael lost on me, and I can't can ever cash in on. It is manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then of course we have a nice large digital gauge cluster that you're supposed to use like a head-up display. You kind of could get an eco zone to show and show that eco score so you can maximize your range. Then you have a cornucopia of all this other information. And when we talk about cornucopia, you do have, of course, all of the Toyota Sensing 3.0 technology. So lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring, emergency brake assist, and even the new traffic jam assist in this Prius Prime. Other than that, feeling good, and you got the JBL sound system. Let's get into the rear seat and what's back there special for your passengers. All right, guys, back seat time. And what I did was I left the seats exactly the same just to show you it's actually pretty good on the space back here, even with the lithium-ion battery pack and that lower roof line. But remember, the Prius is a little bit wider, so that's going to give you a little bit more room. Now, what stinks is that the big zonk is there's no pocket behind the driver's seat. So if you have, you know, that big piece of New York pizza, you're not going to be able to put it in the pocket. You have to keep it on your lap, and nobody wants hot pepperoni touching their groin. And then, of course, the little command center here, you do have the two USB-Cs, and you have another power source. This one does have the optional heated rear seats, which is nice, but no rear AC vents. To me, that's a zonk. I have my own pocket, and you know me, I'm going to double up on those huge slices of New York pizza. Better than Chicago. Let me know how you feel about pizza, if you're going Chicago style, deep dish, or you going with the kind that you have to fold 3 times to eat, the New York style. That's what I'm putting there. I'm from Brooklyn. That's how I do it. Armrest, pull it down, semi-soft with the 2 cup holders. Let's get into the cargo area because I'm ready to roll in this Prius Prime. Guys, cargo area time. Now what's great is you're going to have electric assist, so that's another important thing when you're looking at sedans. And what I love about this is that it doesn't actually have a trunk, it's got a lift back. So you hit the back and then you get that nice sporty lift up, and you're going to be greeted to a decent amount of room. Now it is a little tighter because of packaging compared to your standard Prius, and it is a little tighter than the Prius of the past generation. But the good news is you're still getting plenty of usable space. So with the seats up, what you're looking at is going to be a right around 20.3 cubic feet of space. You fold the seats down, and that's going to maximize it out to 26.7 cubic feet of space. So like I said, it's a little more confined than previous gen, but I think we would both agree from the style, it's good to go. If you want to see what it looks like with the seats down, watch the review at the end of this one, and you have a home power source. Steven's going to show you where that is in the other video that's at the end of this one. But you know what? I don't know about you, but this guy right here, I want to hit the open road and show you just how revolutionary this new Prius Prime is. Let's go on throttle. All right, guys, we are in this 2023 Prius Prime, this being, of course, the XSE Premium. And right away, I love the way everything is organized in here. Say what you want about that iPad style of infotainment system screen. It's well below your sight line, so it's not gonna block any vision. And what's nice is, because it's supersized large, 12.3 inches, it gives you a great surface area. Getting to it is well within reach. Love having, of course, in this Premium, the ventilated seats. And the key to this digital display, I've said it once, I'll say it again, is using it as a head-up display. Driving down the road, the seats are comfy. You get a little bit of hum from the electric motor, but the good news is that you're not getting this on-off sensation from the internal combustion engine, which is nice. Visibility is spot on the money, and I like the way that this one has the panoramic sunroof compared to the other one we drove, which had the solar panel roof, which obviously you cannot have both. It's either one or the other. But nice balanced chassis, you know, with this particular 5th gen system, the battery pack is actually lower, which is going to lower the center of gravity. And as you can see, with the regen braking and everything, it really allows you to have that ability to recharge the battery, and I like the way there's not a bunch of different settings. But let's go on throttle. On throttle from a dead stop. Right now we're in eco mode. You can tell by the green lettering on the display. I'm gonna go ahead and put it into sport mode. You got your basically 3 modes. The 4th one is a custom where you could tune it any which way that you want. But like I said, using the switch gear on the steering wheel allows you to go through that cornucopia of information. You can see I'm working on generating an eco score. I don't know how eco-friendly I'm gonna be with a bunch of on throttles, but that really is kind of nice to give you kind of a visual to guide your driving if that's what you want to do and be more eco-friendly with your driving habits. All right, guys, on throttle, here we go. Sport mode, 0 to 60, 6.6 seconds. And it allows you to really take advantage of having that extra 100 horsepower, which is really nice compared to the previous generation. But I think they really hit the nail on the head with allowing the cabin to be very comfortable, because you are going to be driving further than you ever have before in this Prius Prime compared to the other generations. 550-mile range in this particular trim. If you go SE, you're looking at a 600-mile range. But the chassis is nice and balanced. Steering feels good, not too artificial, and that could happen from time to time. But everything about this Prius is just very, very shocking. And it all starts with the outside wrapper. I mean, this thing has such a nice look to it. It makes you really rethink this whole hybrid setup in vehicles and how they can look good. What's nice is his throttle sensitivity is really great no matter which mode that you're in. And of course in sport mode, that's going to adjust the throttle sensitivity, the steering, those types of things. But we're going to go ahead and get out onto a little bit of a highway here. Hopefully we won't be sitting in a traffic jam, and see how this vehicle does what it's going to do down the highway, because obviously a lot of people are going to utilize this vehicle in those types of situations. But on these surface roads, I'm telling you, it is a vehicle that feels good to drive because you are so comfortable. And the fact that people are looking, and they're not looking in a kind of cross-eyed way like, what is that scientific experiment? They're looking because they can't believe what they're seeing. They're seeing a Prius that actually has a sporty shape to it. All right, guys, here we go. We're gonna get onto the freeway. You ready? On throttle, here we go. So as you can see, getting up to speed is much easier in this Prius Prime. And of course, driving in California, you have to watch out for about just anything can happen. And you can see how good those 12-inch brake rotors up front worked very well as that driver just happened to pull out in front of me. And it allows you to feel safe. It allows you to feel protected in this new Prius. All right, what's nice is when you're driving through city traffic, you really could take advantage of that extra horsepower. And that's really where the Prius Prime shines. What's wonderful is that, like I said, it's such a smooth transition from electric to internal combustion engine that you're not getting this on-off sensation. And I really do think that overall, this vehicle drives very, very smoothly. Visibility is fantastic, probably one of the best out the windshield. All right, guys, we're gonna go on throttle again. If you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. So definitely more invigorating than the previous generation. Is it gonna blow your mind? No, but for a Prius, this is something that's totally different and obviously the quickest of all the previous generations. But definitely when you are on like a highway or you get a long stretch of road and you're not hitting the lights, this is where you're gonna take full advantage of extending your travel distance on a tank of gas. And I guess the best part is having that lower center of gravity for handling, and you could run on pure electrification if you choose to do so and not even use a drop of fuel. But definitely I like when you're doing around 50, 55, and then you roll on the throttle, the torque is really in that sweet spot and pulls you along nicely. I really like how they've done the work with the ECU and the tuning and with the electric motor. Let's see how a U-turn is here. Wow, look at that. Nothing to it. On throttle, there we go. Surprising some people as we zoom away in the Prius Prime. And then as we apply the brakes, you're getting that charging benefit, and it shows up nicely on that dash display. But hopefully this has been a good overall review of what the Prius Prime is, especially this XSE Premium with the way that it's optioned. We're gonna go on throttle one more time. On throttle, here we go. Going uphill, so that's going to take a little extra effort, but there it is. So 100 extra horsepower, extra range, and you get one heck of a good looking four-door sedan. But we're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been a hyper-miling kind of day out here in Carlsbad. Obviously, we need to thank the whole Toyota team for inviting us to this Prius Prime first drive event. Let me know what you think. Has Toyota knocked this out of the park? Has it just shocked your whole system, your whole belief system of what a Prius is about? Has that been thrown out the window with this new Prius Prime? Let me know down in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Radius Rides family. We got to give it up to Stephen Flood, Stephen Flood Photography. You know what? Just to prove a point, he walked from Carlsbad to San Diego just for the heck of it. Thank you, Stephen, for pushing your body to the limits. Show him some love in that comment section. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.